if you ended up staying for the whole Yap session yesterday, I was mostly talking about apartment shopping and everything. So what I've been doing is basically throwing out a lot of old clothes and stuff that serve no purpose to me anymore. It's hard to detach from things that you bought that you used to use or value a lot, but such is life when you got to move in or move out, right? Or move on with life, right? Anyway, so while I was cleaning, I found this little plastic baggie. It was unmarked, and I usually label everything, but this baggie had 6 pill bottles in it. And I was like, what is this? This must have been the time I got my wisdom teeth pulled. You know what I'm saying? Because that was crazy. I got all my wisdom teeth pulled at one time. So, but nah, I opened it. Every bottle in there were antipsychotics. All of them were I can't even pronounce most of these. Seroquel, which I know was used for like bipolar management. I have Abilify, which is another bipolar control. Lamictal, I can't even pronounce it. Listen, I'm destroying these names, bro. This is for depression. I have this plastic bag right now. Like, I'm not taking anything, by the way. I've been off my meds for like 7 or 8 months now. But to mention the others, I see another Lamictal, whatever. I already said that. Risperdal, which I think is for schizophrenia, and when you constantly go through bipolar episodes, I think Risperdal is used for that. Yo, look, I remember, man. I will never take my medication ever again. By the way. Again, it's been like 7 or 8 months now. I've been clean. Look, I still get moody. I still have, I don't have episodes anymore, except sometimes I have panic attacks, and it's hard to explain this. Like, my psychiatrist, who I don't even see anymore for like over a year, he called it splitting. Look, I'm not a doctor, okay? I'll put the info chart on the screen if I'm not too late to edit this video. But I have moments where I kind of panic, but at the same time, I have like this weird mood swing where it's always like 0 to 100 with me. The worst of the worst or the best of the best. And I feel like when something goes wrong or I have a situation where I feel like someone might abandon me, even a friend, I start having this meltdown. And that feels like a panic. But it feels like my head starts to spin because this stresses me out so much. It has physical effects on me too. But like my vision starts to dim and narrow and I start getting a little pale. But every time that has happened to me since I've been off my meds, I just recognize that it's happening. Like, I'll be self-aware that's happening and just calm myself down mentally. Like, I'll literally tell myself in my head, oh, look what's happening right now. This is happening. Okay, hold on. Let me take a few deep breaths and sort of address why I'm feeling this way. Why am I feeling this way that's causing me to feel this way? I'm being too emotional. Let me chill. Let me try not to make impulsive decisions. Let me try not to be hard on myself that I'm going through this right now. Literally, I'll just say that to myself in my head, and that'll be it. Being on meds was like the worst thing ever, honestly, because not only because of the side effects, but because I felt like I lost my social freedom. Here's an example. If I went out with a friend to get food or something, right? And I'm being happy or maybe silly or joyful, right? Eventually the conversation will somehow end up in, how's the medication working for you? Or, did you take your meds today? And they're not saying that in a disrespectful intention or tone like I did it. It was probably the bad way for me to reciprocate what they're saying. But it's like, they'll word it in a way where it's like, hey, you're really happy and full of energy right now. I hope this is not an episode or something. Are you doing what the doctor told you to do? Like that type of thing. It's always some form where someone usually will bring it up and I won't even notice I'm on meds until someone else brings it up. Or look, someone will or something will remind me I'm on my meds or I'm taking my medication, right? Like I'll take my meds in the morning or during the afternoon. I won't even have a second thought about it. One time I came home this was a few years ago. I came home, right? I remember I bought this juicy steak. Man, I was high, boy. Yo, I was expensive too. It was an expensive steak. And I don't know what was going on. I just felt like anyway, so I put some salt and pepper on the steak. I started cooking it, put some butter in the pan, and started pouring the melted butter on the steak. You know what I'm talking about? I cooked it to perfection, medium rare. And I was excited. I was starving. And once I took it out the pan and put it on the cutting board, I noticed all the knives in the kitchen were missing. All of them. Literally, no knives in the kitchen. So, how am I supposed to cut this steak? Oh, actually, technically, there were knives. There were butter knives. So I'm out here trying to cut a steak with a butter knife, which is a pain. And I understand why this was a thing at that time period in my life, but it constantly reminded me that I can't live a normal life. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Like, socially, I'm being constantly reminded, or I could tell if someone is not saying it, I could tell based on their facial expression that they're worried about me if I'm being too happy, or I have too much excitement, or I'm moving too fast, or maybe even if I'm being a bit quiet. So, like my phone will constantly be ringing. One time, this was summer of 2024. I remember I was binge playing Baldur's Gate 3. I just installed a bunch of mods on Baldur's Gate 3, right? And I was just playing all day. And I was so locked in. You ever play a game you're so locked in that you don't message anybody or talk in any group chats or whatever? Man, I didn't talk for 12 hours. People were calling my phone, my family. I had my phone on silent, so I was missing all these calls and stuff, right? And then I finally picked up one of the calls, and he's like, "Yo, you've been quiet today. You good?" Like, come on, bro. Like, he clearly, look, I get it. I'm grateful that he's worried about me, that he cares. Don't take this the wrong way. Don't get it twisted. It's just like, I know what you're doing here because, you clearly didn't mention medication, but I know why you're saying that, Like, you're worried, but dude, I can't detach myself from my phone for 12 hours to lock it and play a game. I have to constantly be monitored socially or be reminded. Like, I just felt like I had no freedom. And then when I got off the meds, I felt like this was a mistake, but not a mistake. When I told people I was off my meds, immediate backlash. Which, again, this all makes sense. I get it. But I can't deny there have been moments throughout the past 7 to 8 months where someone will bring it up like, yo, I think you should still be on your medication. Yo, like, I think you're worrying too much about this. I feel like you're attaching too much to this. When's the last time you've been on your medication? Like, they'll word it in a way. I'm doing such a terrible job trying to like fix the tone with this. Maybe I'm not just doing a good job explaining this feeling. Maybe people who have been on antipsychotics or any sort of, mood changing or mood fixing quotes per se, meds, you know what I'm talking about. You feel like you're in a cage all day, mentally, socially, and so forth. And I think you understand why this is the case. Obviously, it's not that difficult to understand, but sometimes this feels more draining than being on the medication itself. Nowadays, nobody really does this to me, Again, like, very rarely someone will bring it up, very rarely, but I have my freedom again in my life. Like, nobody really, I could finally go a day without people calling me or texting me and, like, people not panicking or, like, I could just be joyful and silly and happy, or I could just be quiet and no one's thinking like, oh, okay, Aku's off the rocker. You know what I'm saying? Like, It's very easy to tell that I'm panicking though, because I do wear my emotions on my sleeve, or you could tell I'm getting worked up. Even if my face is poker face, you could just tell. I just give off a feeling that something is right. But I think people around me and in my life have seen me sort of deal with it myself now. Like how I mentioned, I just sort of pep talk myself out of episodes now, and it's working very well. So there's no reason to be worried anymore. You get what I'm saying? But I don't know. How do you guys feel about this? The little plastic bag, I'm gonna keep it. All right. Well, the pill bottles, whatever. I'm just gonna label it as emergency. But why am I doing that? Well, I could just throw it away, right? But I feel like I'm not invincible. That's the thing. I'm not an invincible person. Just because I could pep talk myself out of this, and I've been doing it for like less than a year, it doesn't mean like something could happen where I can't pep talk myself, where I'm such a bad mental space, or I can't control myself. I feel like I can't control myself anymore. Well, I could just go to the emergency baggie. And usually when I take antipsychotics after not being on them for a while, I get really sleepy and nauseous. So I'll just sleep through it. And that's not healthy, obviously, but it'll sort of move me past whatever I'm going through at the moment and like numb me or like dull my emotions or lock it in. You get what I'm saying? But again, that's not healthy. But I don't know. I'm just keeping it there just in case. But I don't remember the last time I ever did that. Again, I'm 7 to 8 months now. I've been clean completely, and I hope and willing to continue that moving forward. Hey, this episode is found on Spotify and YouTube. I'm out.